introduce you here, like before we sing this little song.
Okay.
And then there's a worship, and then we do our, or you do your solo.
Cool, cool. Is that, should I just play one movement? Should I do like 4 minutes? Or?
Yeah, that's good. And then the prayers there.
Great.
And then, and then we'll go find your room right now. You don't need this here for the Bob.
No.
So,
but it's fine. I can just move it. So it's here.
I'm going to just put it like here.
Great. That's perfect.
And then,
I'm just going to use this cello back here.
Sure, that's fine.
Instead of carrying around 2 cellos.
Yeah. I guess we don't have like an instrument stand that works for that.
Oh, no, it's fine.
And then I may probably between your songs. This will just be here, and then after we play it.
Great. Do you want me to move anything? Okay.
No, it's fine. Just wondering if I should. I'll introduce your set. This was really
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I hate to shut this down because, after all, this is what we're here for, is community. So, good morning. My name is Laura Mueller, and I serve on the Board of Trustees here at First Unitarian Society of Denver. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. All people of goodwill are warmly invited to join us on our journey of the spirit, the mind, and the heart. If this is your first time with us today, please let the offering basket pass you by. Your presence is gift enough. We hope you will join us for coffee and conversation in the community room after the service. We would love to get to know you better and answer any questions that you might have. You can also visit the information table next to the exit from the community room. If you are looking for ways to engage with our community and support the work of our congregation, please visit the opportunities table in the community room after the service. There are a variety of activities there that would welcome more helping hands. We would love to match you with an opportunity that interests you. And now I have an announcement by Bonnie Jean Jenkins.
Hi there. I am here to tell you about some opportunities. That was a great segue with the Caring Committee. So Sally Madsen, who's been our long-time card person, she makes sure that everybody gets their cards when they're sick or you feeling like you need to get a hello or whatever. She is looking for someone to step in so she can train them, make sure that they're comfortable with the position, and that they can take over next year. Also, another way for you to connect with our community would be to do other things with the Caring Committee. And we have dispatchers who make sure that everybody gets, that you get your meals, that you get a ride, that you get the things that you need. And our dispatchers are full for the year, except for December. So if you are here this December and you feel like you have time to check the mailbox and kind of dispatch the jobs out, then go ahead and give a call or an email to Colleen Bryan. And she gave me her address down here. It's on the announcement on here. It's Colleen Bryan. Colleen.bryan@att.net. And for the card dispatching or card person, you could talk to Sally Madsen if you'd like. Or you can just send an email to the Caring Committee and one of us will get back to you. Thank you so much.
Please remember to silence your cell phones or other electronic devices. Welcome to worship. You may now take a few minutes to greet the people around you.
Good morning, First Unitarian. So good to see you here this morning. I was gone a couple Sundays. I missed you. I just want to first make a note about the order of service. Our closing hymn was from last week on your printed order of service. We're not singing "We Must Be the Change" again, but Michael will introduce our closing hymn at the end of the homily. And I'm also here to introduce our special guest cellist, Joseph Howe, who's right here. He's amazing. and he's here to practice a piece that he's playing for the American Box Soloists Festival in San Francisco next month. So please, if you're available after the service, he's going to be performing the Bach Cello Suite in E-flat in its entirety. It's less than 30 minutes, and here in our sanctuary for free, and it's beautiful, and he's amazing. So welcome, Joseph. So glad you're here. Yeah. And you'll get a little sneak preview in a few minutes for the prelude. So now, whoever you are, wherever you are joining us from, in the sanctuary or online, you are so welcome here. Would you please join us in singing our song of welcome?
Two, three. We are many, we are one. The light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul. A place has been made for you.
Good morning. Our call to worship day today is a poem, If I Were Another, by Mahmoud Darwish, who is regarded as the Palestinian national poet, translated by Fadi Judah. As you listen, I invite you to consider what it means to be part of another's story, part of another's music, and who we allow to share that gift with us. If I were another on the road, I would not have looked back. I would have said what one traveler says to another, "Stranger, awaken the guitar more, delay our tomorrow so our road may extend and space may widen for us and we may get rescued from our story together. You are so much yourself, and I am so much other than myself right here before you. If I were another, I would have belonged to the road. Neither you nor I would return. Awaken the guitar and we might sense the unknown and the route that tempts the traveler to test gravity. I am only my steps, and you are both my compass and my chasm. If I were another on the road, I would have hidden my emotions in the suitcase, so my poem would be of water, diaphanous, white, abstract, and lightweight, stronger than memory, and weaker than dewdrops. And I would have said, my identity is this expanse. If I were another on the road, I would have said to the guitar, teach me an extra string, because the house is farther and the road to it prettier. That is what my new song would say. Whenever the road lengthens, the meaning renews, and I become two on this road, I and another.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jan Dever, and I'll be doing the story for all ages today. I know there are kids out there today. Come on up here with me, you guys. Yeah. Come sit down with me. Oh, you might need to help me get up because I'm old, okay? You guys ready to strong pull? Hi. Good. Well, my name is Jan, and thanks for coming to this Unitarian Universalist Church. I want to play a little game to start. Every time I say Unitarian Universalist, I want you to put your hands up like this. Unitarian, with a U, make the U, Unitarian Universalist. I'm going to say this in my little speech, and you be ready. Unitarian Universalist. Very good. I'm happy you came here today. And today we are going to be talking about helping others. And I'm going to start by using this book here called Help by Laura Green. You want to come down here and see it? I don't think the message is more exciting than the pictures. Come on, scoot over, you can see. I find some things easy to do, but sometimes things are hard and I need help. What's hard for me may be easy for you, Joaquin. Sometimes I give help, and sometimes I get it. Help makes things easier. Sometimes I need help from people who are older, younger, taller, smaller. Sometimes I need help from objects like tools and books and things. It's easy to sit still in school. And if you've been sitting a long time, it helps to have recess. True? True. It's easy to have friends. But if I'm a little shy, it helps if somebody asks me to play with them. It's easy to win basketball games, but if my team won't practice, it helps to practice working together. It's easy to walk and run and hop, but not if you're old like Grandpa, or me personally. It helps if I can walk slowly with others. So we're going to be talking about helping. And have you ever helped anybody? Have you ever helped anybody? What did you do? I helped somebody the other day at the grocery store. She was very short and something was very high. I happened to be tall. I reached for it. You know what I mean? Did you ever help your brother do anything? I know you have. You just can't think of it, right? Absolutely. Okay. Well, we are Unitarian Universalists. Woohoo! Unitarian Universalists. You got it. And we like to help. So one way that we help every week is with this wagon. We put things in there that people need, like food and personal items. Where's my can of soup? You can put it in there. You can find this wagon every Sunday right out by the front door. And when you put food and personal items in it, like toothpaste or toothbrushes and stuff like that, people from, this is a congregation out there, people from this congregation will take it to people who need the stuff. Isn't that helpful? Because we Unitarian Universalists, woohoo, we Unitarian you're on it, okay, like to help. So this week, I want you to be mindful of when you help your brother, and when you help yourself, and when you think of it, when you come back to church, this UU church, you can put some food and personal goods into this wagon. So for the rest of the service, you'll be staying over in the quiet play space and playing. But first, I need some help, A, getting up, B, pulling that wagon back to the front door. Who's going to do what? What do you want to do? Wagon. Go for it. What do you want to do? Yes! You stand right there. All right, give me your hand. Oh, my goodness. Good. Pull. Oh, so helpful. Okay, you can go over to the play space now. You can go over to the play space now. Thanks, guys. Can you back her up? There we go. You got it.
And now I'm going to ask you to rise in body and or spirit and sing This Is My Song, hymn number 159 in your hymnals or maybe on the screen. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean, and sunlight beams on clover leaf and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine. Thank you.
Good morning, First Unitarians. My name is Betty Cooner, and I'm a member of the Giving in Action Committee. And before I introduce our guests today, I would just like to put a plug in for the Giving in Action Committee. We would happily share the work with a few more volunteers. And so if anyone is willing and interested in joining us, we meet once every 2 to 3 months, so pretty small task. So see me after the service or see Beth Fisher. So now, I have the pleasure and honor of introducing Dr. Jeanette Patterson and another guest, Mr. Abbott, and Dr. Jeanette Patterson is the Executive Director of Lincoln Hills Cares. I believe Mr. Abbott is the Development Director. And they are the recipients of the collection plate this morning. So in welcoming them both, I want to remind everyone that FUSD had an existing relationship with this organization because they were the recipient, Lincoln Hills Cares was the recipient of a grant that was made possible by funding from the FUSD Black Reparations Fund. Many of you are probably aware or were happily made aware of the long-term existence of Lincoln Hills when you visited History Colorado in recent years, because there's an exhibit which describes Lincoln Hills as a vacation resort for African Americans since 1922. I was able to visit the site last fall when some FUSD volunteers helped to clean out a stable to prepare for the new equestrian program that they've just started. So I can attest to the fantastic natural beauty of the landscape and also to the welcoming enthusiasm of the staff. So please consider supporting this vital program and join me in welcoming Dr. Patterson.
Good morning, Saints. Thank you for having me here today to be a part of your service. I want to especially thank the Giving Committee, the Giving in Action Committee, Ms. Beth Fisher and her team. Thank you for recognizing the work that we do in the community. We are so honored that you thought about us today and you have us here today and you're supporting us. I'm no stranger to church. I was born and raised in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. I have been attending Shorter Community AME Church for the past 36 years since I've been here. Some of you all know I see some faces I've seen at our church. Reverend Tyler is our pastor. So I'm going to do a little church protocol real quickly. First of all, giving honor to God, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Reverend Mike Moran, the First Unitarian Church staff, members and friends of the First Unitarian Society of Denver, good morning. My name is Dr. Jeanette Patterson. I'm the Executive Director of Lincoln Hills Cares, and I also have along here with us Mr. James Abbott. He is our Development Director. Lincoln Hills Cares develops the next generation of outdoor leaders through outdoor and environmental education, cultural history exploration, and workforce advancement. Our programs empower communities by providing access and opportunity for them to be in the outdoors. We serve youth ages 5 to 22 across the Colorado Front Range. And each year, we serve up to 6,000 young people in partnerships with youth-serving organizations. We do most of this during the summer months. Lincoln Hills delivers an innovative, environmentally focused educational programs for underrepresented and, historically marginalized communities. We teach outdoor skills, environmental stewardship, career pathways in outdoor and environmental fields, and our goal is really to encourage youth to seek STEM careers once they graduate from high school and into college. We have 5 programs at Lincoln Hills that we support. We support the Youth and Family Outdoor Education Program, STEM, Nashoni Equestrian Program, which we had some volunteers come up and work in the barn, career pathways, and teamworks. Your mission of love, spirit, compassion, and justice echoes loudly in what we do at Lincoln Hills Cares. Your vision statement, there is a unity that makes us one, aligns perfectly with our vision, diversifying the outdoors for future generations. We too believe in unity, especially in the outdoors, and where all people deserve where they belong. But let me be clear, this isn't all that we do. This is about access, we're about identity in the outdoors, we're about confidence, and we're about community. For many of our youth that we serve, this is their first time in nature. We help them build confidence, we help them feel connected, and we help them feel like they have a sense of belonging in the great outdoors. There's one program I'm going to highlight today, and that is the Youth and Family Outdoor Education Program. That program provides an array of activities for youth to come up into the mountains. They they have some outdoor skills that they learn. They learn hiking, they learn shelter building, they learn gardening, fly fishing, fire safety, archery, horseback riding, and there's various other STEM activities that they partake in. During the school year, this program partners with the Denver Public Schools. We serve 16 elementary schools, and we serve those schools in their after-school program. We provide outdoor and nature-based lessons. We want to ensure that you stay connected to nature year-round. So here's our immediate need in that program. We're asking for your help with something tangible and meaningful. We need your support to support our swag bags. They're nature bags. They're supply bags for the upcoming school year. These bags aren't just giveaways, they're rewards, they're encouragement, and they're empowerment tools. Each bag includes a little notebook and a pen so they can reflect and journal, sunglasses, sunscreen, chapstick, and a reusable water bottle. These items are meant to inspire curiosity and promote safe, thoughtful outdoor experiences. We also need to purchase a couple other things. Microscopes. We use multiple environmental science lessons where we need microscopes. Stickers, monies for stickers, and we also need support with plant seeds and mini pots for kids to take nature home. So why does this matter? When kids feel safe and celebrated, they come alive. When they see themselves as a part of nature, not separate from it, it builds pride, it builds purpose, and it builds possibility. When communities like yours chooses to support communities like ours, we all get stronger. So today I humbly ask, will you help us give a child a notebook, a pen, some chapsticks, some sunscreen or a water bottle, and with it, the confidence to see themselves belonging in the outdoors. Whether it's a donation or if it's material things, that is fine. We are so grateful. But every bit helps us keep access free and open in the outdoors for everyone. Thank you. God bless you and your families, and enjoy the day.
By the waters of Babylon, we laid our lives down, laid our lives down, and sat and cried. By the waters of Babylon, we sang no sacred songs, sang no sacred songs. Our tongues were tied. Da 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 If I forget you, oh Palestine, I'll play no more again, play no more again, not one more time. Won't you show me your Palestine, raised and broken, raised and broken, alone on high. Die, 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 by the waters of Babylon, we laid our lives down, laid our lives down, a long, long time. Die, die, die. Won't you show me, oh Palestine, raised and broken, raised and broken, alone on high.
Good morning. It works really well. Oh, wow, I love that. We're going to do something different for pastoral prayer today. You may see it in your programs. We're going to do something called Mourner's Kaddish, which is this ancient Jewish ritual for grieving and mourning. And I'll start giving some context just with a little fun fact. This is a Jewish ritual, but it's not in Hebrew. It's in Aramaic, which is a dead language. And I offer you that fun fact not because I expect you to use it as small talk at your next party, but it's an important little thing to note in that the reason why it's in Aramaic is because that was the language of common people at the time. Hebrew was the language of the elite at the time, of literate people reading Torah. And I think there's a very important message there that grief is for everybody. Unfortunately, in our world today, that is not always the case. I've had conversations with people in this room who feel like they're not allowed to grieve, or they don't know how could you do this with the world right now. So we're going to do this prayer, and I do it as an invitation, because this prayer is more, Kaddish is less a prayer, more of an act. It's an act of turning towards life. And by that, I don't mean leaving grief behind, but holding grief up together. And so the way we're going to do this is maybe a little different from what you're used to. I have a few names of people that Reverend Mike has given me, but I'm actually going to open the space up for everybody. I'll be kind of going around the room. And I ask that you say any name of a person, a place, or a thing that you are grieving, that you're remembering, even that you want to send healing to. Because I think healing and grieving, if they're not connected, they sit side by side. Because some of you have heard me say this before, and I keep saying it, less because I like saying it, but more because the world keeps making me believe it. That grief put out into the light starts to look a lot like love. And so let's do that act right now. I'll start off by reading some names that Reverend Mike gave me, and then I'll open up the space. And I invite you, don't worry if it's your first time saying something out loud like this. This is your birthright to grief and your responsibility. So I'd like to name first that Brenda Dockery lost her brother 2 weeks ago, and we send Brenda and her family all the comfort that they can stand. It's also with sadness that we note the passing of brilliant Colorado queer poet and activist Andrea Gibson. Her life, her truth, her words, and her passing continue to be an inspiration to thousands around the world and in this community. Eddie Carroll is recovering from a minor stroke just over a week ago, and we welcome him back to church, and thankful that the prognosis appears to be good at this time. Rhonda Williamson also continues to recover from a hip replacement, and we wish her well and hope to see her back soon. And now what I'll be doing is I'll just slowly kind of just look towards the spaces in the room. And whatever name or word or thing that is on your heart, please say it out loud, even as that might be scary, so that we can all hold it together. Sound good? I'll start over here.
Due process.
Thank you. I'd like to add the name Andrew Proctor, who's always on my heart. And I'm not here to police grief, so however you wish to be in this rhythm, I don't expect you to know it. If you do, please join me. But please rise in body and spirit, and just let the rhythm of these words hold you in this moment. Yitgadal v'yikadash merabah, ve'alma divra chirutei ve'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehesh merabah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmedu kucha brichu. Le'ela minko berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ve'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yishvei tevel ve'al kol Philistine ve'imru. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Good morning. How's everyone? Good? Yeah, we're managing, right? Day to day. So, what is the moment when one becomes committed to a cause and remains committed? It comes in different forms and can be rather unexpected. I'm going to tell you briefly about one of my unexpected commitments. Some of you, it might actually resonate. On the morning of June 27th, 2019, I sat down in front of my computer with a cup of coffee and was looking at headlines. A Denverite headline read, "Denver is capturing geese from city parks to be killed and given to hungry families." My immediate reaction, in addition to being horrified, was that this appeared to be an expression of municipal politics gone awry without public input. That was my gut, and full disclosure, my read was informed by decades studying and living in Turkey and being very familiar with the Turkish brand of authoritarianism. This was just slightly smaller, but equally as potent. Without hesitation, I jumped into gear. There was a Facebook group, I joined. Someone called for a rally in 10 days. There was no planning taking place, and this was an important moment for media attention. In 2 days, there was a group of 5 of us. In 10 days, we had a logo, and without preparation, I became the spokesperson for Canada Geese Protection Colorado. That was a big moment. A moment when it is a tad easier to show up. Now in 2019, a little bit of stats, 1,662 healthy geese were lethally rounded up and killed during the molting season. And in 2020, 517 were rounded up. But in 2021, though after 18 months of speaking in front of Denver Parks and Recreation's Board of Advisors, reaching out to City Council, speaking to neighbors, witnessing and documenting a lethal roundup at Garland Lake, the city terminated the 3rd year of its 3-year kill contract, which had been signed with USDA Fish and Wildlife Services in 2018. This was a group effort of concerned city residents who had remained committed to the public's voice, although the numbers had dwindled significantly since the initial rally. I want to be clear, this was not about holding up signs, "Don't kill the geese." This was about making sure that the public was involved. So one might think that once the contract to round up the geese was terminated, then the work could have been considered done. That is not the case with commitments. It requires being creative, rethinking strategy, and pivoting to maintain visibility and continue with public awareness. And we did. 5 years ago, CGPC started partnering with Denver Parks and Recs on lake cleanup projects. Once a month, 6 months out of the year, community members meet at one of the city's lakes with waders and galoshes in hand. Trash pickers and buckets are handed out, and the community does work to transform the waters of the lakes into a thriving habitat for the waterfowl, muskrats, beavers, turtles, frogs, snails, and even leeches. Yesterday, we just had another cleanup at Barnum Lake, and we collected 15,000 pounds of trash, including 5 mattresses, 20 tires, 3 grocery carts, and a lot of other objects, including a boombox. So the community thrives as well. I never imagined that I would wear the hat of being a Canada Goose advocate. I do proudly, as this work intersects and overlaps with other forms of systemic oppression that impact marginalized and sentient populations in this city. My unexpected commitment has had breadth, and maintaining the work has included just having a conversation with another person. There are various modalities and possibilities for public engagement and community activism. It does not have to come in the form of a big gesture, like a rally. Although rallies and protests are modalities, I like to think about activism as incremental shifts, as a demonstration of perseverance and patience, which allows for one to catch one's breath. In short, my unexpected commitment to the geese and the community at large happened when I read that headline and I could not look away. It was at that moment that I realized I could not take for granted that the geese, which nest here, needed our protection. In closing, let's reflect on those moments when one has a choice to make. The opportunities to do something, to get involved, and not just let a headline become another headline. Thank you.
Good morning. I just want to see if it would work again. Thanks for hearing me. It's really great to be able to speak here again today. And let me start off by saying that there are so many things I appreciate about this community. They're the big things, like how you all continue to show up for each other in these truly tumultuous times, the ways that you give of yourselves for people and things and causes that you care about, how welcoming you are to anyone who shows up through these doors, including myself these past months. Now, having been here for closing in on a whole year now, time flies, I can say that there are also small things I really appreciate. I really appreciate, as someone who grew up in a pretty observant Jewish household and attended synagogue, I appreciate the timing of services, by which I mean they're just about an hour as opposed to your entire morning, some of your afternoon, and if you get caught up in the wrong conversation, the rest of your day. I also appreciate how you all start your services on time, without fail. Again, as someone with a Jewish upbringing, I have this very deep visceral instinct, this little voice in my head that on the morning of any given service kind of whispers to me, "Don't worry, you've got time." There's no way they actually start when they say they do. As such, on most Sunday mornings here, I am typically 10 to 15 minutes late. Perhaps the most important small thing, though, that I appreciate that really might not be that small is that there actually are services here each week. That without fail, there are people coming here to gather, to be together and weather through whatever physical, emotional, or spiritual storms we're facing on any given week. And it feels like each week there's a new one. Now, when I was a kid going to shul, or synagogue, on Saturday mornings for Shabbat, this was not always a given. I have a few distinct memories of showing up and there only being a few people in the room, including me and my mom, which meant that we didn't have what in Judaism we call Minyan. Minyan means that in order to do anything that Judaism deems devar shebekdusha, a matter of holiness, you need at least 10 people altogether, 10 Jews. Because we didn't have enough people, my mom and the people in there would basically look at each other and say, "Well, we'll try again next week." And we go home, which for a kid like me was kind of music to my ears because I got my Saturday back. But for others, though, it meant that they couldn't do much of what we're doing here right now. Gather, pray, be in community in sacred time as we face everything going on in the world. And I guess I could say that I just didn't understand the significance of that as a little kid. At least I would like to tell you that. But the truth is, I don't think I truly understood the significance of what it meant to not have Minyan, to not have enough people show up, until last summer. Now, much of the past few years for me has been filled with reconnecting to Judaism after spending most of my teens and 20s away from it. Much of this reconnecting has been a reckoning. First, grappling with what does it even mean to be Jewish in these times when so much of what is sacred is co-opted into the fascist political project that is the nation-state of Israel. It's also been a personal reckoning for me, a sort of searching through myself to see what does Judaism even mean for me after all this time away from it, all this time feeling lost from it. In more ways than I can count, I've been confronted with this question of what can be made from all these disparate and long ago parts of myself. Can something be made from all this brokenness within me? Now, this journey of reconnection and reckoning led me to attend this week-long retreat of over 100 Jews last summer with my mom. And it was full of Jews from lots of different perspectives, lots of opinions. There's this joke, have 3 Jews walk into a room and leave with 4 opinions. That's kind of the vibe. And it was full of many different perspectives, but most would identify as Zionist in some way, which, as uncomfortable as it made me, was a big reason that I went. I think it's very important to find people who share your values and perspectives and do the work of building the world you wish to see out of that. I think many in this room would also agree that there's something to be said about reaching out to those who don't already share our perspectives. It's that work of asking, is there still some way to connect across our differences with people we don't agree with people who stand on some sort of other side of things that we care deeply about? Again, that same question. Can something be made from all this brokenness? Not just within ourselves, but between ourselves. On this retreat, I was given a very deeply personal glimpse to the possibilities that may arise from this question. During the week, it was my mother's father's yahrzeit, the anniversary of his death. He, my grandfather, died before I was born, so I never met him, but I've known him through many stories, and I also know him because I'm named after him, so thus inheriting a part of him myself. Now, on the anniversary of someone's death in Judaism, loved ones are supposed to say Mourner's Kaddish, the prayer that we did before. This prayer is this attempt, I think, to just try to make something out of what feels so broken. But in order to recite Mourner's Kaddish, the law of Minyan applies. In order to say Mourner's Kaddish, you need to have at least 9 other people with you. And I'm sorry for the math on a Sunday morning. That's 9 plus 1, you got 10. It's also summer vacation, so I'm sorry about that. But this creates the very common logistical conundrum of halakha, so common to Jewish law. I don't think I'm the only one in this room who has experienced how hard it can be to get people together at the same time, at the same place for the same thing. We send out emails and we send out texts. We start a group chat that quickly becomes a group chat for what's the best way to have a group chat. And so maybe you start a group chat on a different platform because that's a better way to talk to each other. And then you use that new group chat to send out calendar invitations, only to find that it doesn't work with everyone's schedule. So you use a different app so you can take a vote on what's the best time and day for everybody, which gives you this very beautiful color-coded display of how our schedules just don't align. And then you send another calendar invitation and repeat. And I'll stop here because that's not the point. Because the point is just, it's pretty hard to get people together, right? The point is that for us to show up for each other, we have to answer a call that pulls us out of our default setting of schedules and routines. That capitalistic tendency to measure our time on this earth by how productive we are. To always be chasing that next thing we think we need to accomplish or achieve or just kind of get done. Now, throughout the week, my mother gently reminded me it was her father's yahrzeit and we needed to get enough people for evening service to have Minyan so we could say Mourner's Kaddish. And I was ready. After years of being disconnected from my Judaism, I felt determined to show up for my mom in this way and make sure we had Minyan. But when the time came, it was just me, my mom, and 2 of my friends. 6 short, math again. But this is where that magical thing of seeing people answer a call happened. My 2 friends, who I'd only met just a few days before, just wouldn't accept this. They wouldn't accept that in a place of over 100 people who knew the significance of this, we couldn't find 10 to show up so someone could do the most sacred act of grieving. So we started going around the campus trying to find anyone we could to come to evening service and saying, we gotta say Mourner's Kaddish, we need you. The issue was that there was this community-wide talent show going on and just about everybody was there and the show was well underway. And here again is where I think I began to start understanding for the first time the true power and beauty of Judaism, by which I mean any faith or belief that brings people together. My friends told the MC about the situation, and in the middle of the show, the MC stopped everything and said, we need more people for evening service because someone needs to say Kaddish. And instantly, without a second thought, a dozen or so people stood up, walked out of the show, all the happiness of it, and went to evening service. My mom led the service that lasted about 20 minutes, and at the end broke character to say how truly grateful she was. She was grateful and said that she's never witnessed something like this done for her before. That there have been many years where she couldn't say Kaddish because she couldn't find or make it to a minyan. How much it meant to her that me, my friends, and all these people that we didn't really know showed up for her in this most important way. And it was then that I felt what I can only truly describe as a painful joy. Joy that my mom got to experience this and have people show up for her in her grief in this really important way. Pain. It was painful because I count for Minyan. So do my brother, my sister, and my father. All together, with my mom, we have 5 already. That's already halfway to Minyan. And we could have found another 5 all these years if we really wanted to, especially with Zoom. You just send out the Zoom link, right? Maybe a calendar invite, I don't know. But yet all these years, 2 decades since my bar mitzvah which is when I officially started counting for Minyan, we never tried. What is painful is recognizing how much I've abdicated my responsibility, not just to my mom, but to so many others, to be there so people could do one of the most holy things that we do as humans: grieve. Continue to love people who are no longer with us, which is a way of keeping them alive in some way. What is perhaps still most painful, as I stand here, is that it wasn't that I chose not to take up this responsibility. It's that I wasn't even aware that I had this responsibility. It's the recognition that I have built a life in that oh so very American way of tricking myself into thinking that our lives only belong to ourselves. That if I just do what I need to do for me and you do what you need to do for you, if I just grieve my griefs and you grieve yours, then we'll all be just fine, right? But here we are in this crazy year of 2025 in this place we call America, and I don't think anyone in this room would say we are fine. And I could rattle off a long list of, well, and it seems to get longer by the day, of all the societal, political woes that we're facing, but I think we know them well, and we're all struggling with them, and we know it's not fine. And if it seems like I just did a significant shift from the personal and emotional and spiritual elements of community and grief to the politics of the world we currently face, I'd like to shift the framing here. I like to say that if politics is to mean anything, I think it should mean more than just governance and voting or electoral politics or whatever hot button topic that corporate media decides we should pay attention to on any given day. I think that if politics is to mean anything in these times, it should be about how we figure out how we're accountable to each other, how we're responsible for each other, because we each play a role in the livelihood of others. Because in this life, we all count for Minyan. Because if politics means anything, it means we know we are not alone. And that might be one of the bigger challenges of the politics of our time, because the polarization that we see clearly shows that despite how interconnected our world is, we are not together. What is clear is that as basic of a word as it might be, I think one of the first things we got to start figuring out is what together even actually means. We'll probably have to do that together. During that same week of my grandfather's yard site last summer, I got another glimpse into what this kind of together might mean, again through the act of Mourner's Kaddish. In this space where Zionism and general support for Israel was the norm, me and a few of my friends decided to do a daily Mourner's Kaddish for Gaza. We did it out in the main lawn of the retreat where everyone could see, so that everyone could see. And we made announcements, and we invited the whole community. No calendar invites because we didn't have the technology, but that's okay. That's a theme, I'll stop here, no more. Yeah. Predictably, though, on that first day, it was just me and two of my friends, and we already kind of knew we had the same politics. Not enough for Minyan. We did Mourner's Cottage anyway, though, which I think in itself is a lesson, a small one, about what laws actually are. Because laws are just values that we care about enough to enshrine into rules and shape the way that we live. Sometimes, though, you have to break the rules in order to stay true to the values. So the rest of the week, we broke the rules. We met at the same time and the same place to do this ancient Jewish ritual to mourn the lives of Palestinians and everyone who has lost their lives in the genocide in Gaza, which continues to this day. On the second day, another one of our friends with very similar politics showed up. The day after, my mom and someone I didn't know showed up. Still short of Minyan, but nice to see it grow. Each day, we broke that rule so we could stay true to the value. So we could say that we as Jews, as humans, will show up and grieve for Palestinians. Humans. On that final day, I looked around. We were a mix of people I loved and cared about and people I had never met. We ranged from people I knew I aligned with politically, to people I had no idea where they stood, to people I knew I did not align with. And there we were. 10 of us, exactly. We made Minyan. And so another lesson, I guess, of making Minyan is that we will inevitably find ourselves with people we would not expect, maybe that we even wouldn't want to. And one aspect I do want to clarify very quickly on this note is that when it comes to people who lie on some sort of other side of these issues or the political spectrum, I am not advocating for finding some sort of middle ground between viewpoints. Because I will say emphatically right now, there is no middle ground between seeing and treating someone as fully human or as lesser. You either do or you don't. And for the sake of ourselves and so many that we love, we can't concede on that. The point, though, is to ask, why would someone hold on to something so cruel? Why would someone hold in their heart something that not only denigrates someone else's humanity, but in turn saps them of their own? I like to believe that no person is innately this way, that this comes from the fears that are passed down to them from others, which they inherit and make their own. Many of these fears have to do with fear of the unknown, of the unfamiliar, of difference, of how that will change the world. And this takes personal bravery to start overcoming. I think there are other fears, though, too, that lie deeper. The fear that the people that they love and care about and the places they go to will stop showing up for them if they have the audacity to change. The people who make up their Minyan will stop showing up or cast them out. That no one else will come to make a new Minyan for them. These are the kind of fears I believe we are all responsible to each other for. Because either we're making a world where we all feel more alone or less alone. I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room in that one either. This is what we're accountable to each other for, because I think in some way we all hold this fear of being left alone, left behind. In this way, we have something in common. Because isn't that at the heart of everything we're really fighting for, regardless of the issue? To build a world where no one is forgotten. That's the kind of politics I'm looking for these days. And I think we'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who didn't at least share some of that sentiment, even however small. Which means we do have common ground to stand on, to build upon. And yes, this does mean we have common enemies. Big corporate interests, the military-industrial complex, we could go on and on. But I think one lesson we learned in the last election is that having common enemies can only take us so far, right? Because working to fight common enemies tricks you into thinking that your bond with someone else is based on something external to your human relationship with them. But the true power of having a common enemy isn't that it gives you someone or something in common to hate. It's that when you look around you, you see people grappling with the chaos and heartbreak of this world right alongside you. You feel like you are not alone in your grief, that someone will be there to grieve your griefs with you. Maybe that's one of the things we urgently need to start learning how to do in order to shift our polarized political landscape. Maybe we need to learn how to grieve each other's griefs more. And we don't need common enemies to do this. If you want proof, just look around this room. Everyone here is struggling in some way. It's been 6 months into this presidency, and I think I speak for everyone here, and probably everyone watching, when I say we're tired, exhausted, maybe losing hope in the world, perhaps even hope in ourselves. Many of us feel stuck. I've had this conversation a lot recently. Stuck because we know that there is so much that needs to be done that isn't being done, and yet we know that there's only so much we can do as individuals. Yet here we are on this Sunday morning, and I don't think it's because of any common enemy, whether it be Trump or anyone else. I would venture to say that when you woke up this morning and planned to come to service, it wasn't because you planned on taking on Trump or Netanyahu or any other horrible thing going on in the world by coming here. Or rather, I would say it was something more than that. I would venture to say that it had something to do with you knowing that when you walk into this place, you know you're going to see, and you know you're going to feel in some way what I am as I look around this room. People filled with love and pain and joy and grief, all wrestling with the world some way, somewhere in their heart. People who made the decision to show up today. The decision to say, I'm not going to go this alone. Which in turn is the decision to say to someone else, you don't have to go this alone either. If together is anything, I think it's this. This is Minyan, which means this is Devar Shebekdusha. This right here, us being together in these uncertain times, this is holy. And maybe this won't change much in the world, if anything at all. But every time we show up, every time we make Minyan, we take a step closer to living in a world where we all feel a little less alone. And when we feel less alone, we feel less small. And when we feel less small, we become more. And when we become more, we become that much more capable. And when we are that much more capable, that much more is possible. And when that much more is possible, then there's hope. And hope Hope is how we keep each other alive. So to close, what I want to say to you all in these times when we feel stuck and lost and tired and despair would be easy. What I ask of you is be that hope. Be that hope for yourself and for someone else. Show up. Show up to that meeting, that event, that action, that protest, to services. Show up for the oppressed, for the grieving, for those you don't know, for those you do, for each other. Show up with all the love and grief and everything in between your heart is holding. That is the challenge. That is our responsibility now more than ever. And some of us will show up right away. Some of us, like me on the morning of a service, might show up a little late. And that's okay. Because whatever the timing may be, we are all called to make Minyan, to show up for those that we love, and to learn how to show up for those we must learn to love. And again, I wish I could end this by saying with any sort of certainty that this will lead to the changes we wish to see in this world. But you know I can't. I don't know what comes of this, and neither do you. But that's why we got to keep coming. That's why we got to keep showing up. Because when I look around this room, I can't help but believing that we can make something out of all this brokenness. Because when I leave this Minyan today, I will have just a little more faith, a little more hope that a better world is possible. Thank you. Here for the song, but I'm going to switch over mics so that it feels like a transition. I've been asked to give a little intro to this song as an explanation. Mi chamocha, which is in your programs, is originally a prayer. It means who is like you. Typically is said about God, in reference to God, and it mentions the splitting of the Red Sea in the Exodus. There is an alternative or a midrash, a rabbinical riff of this story, though, that when the Israelites show up to the Red Sea, they're stuck there, they're freaking out, the Egyptians are coming, Moses is trying to work his staff but doesn't really know what to do, and everyone's freaking out, and all of a sudden, this one person named Nachson, just this normal person, decides to take that first step into the Red Sea. And so this version, we're going to sing some of the Hebrew first and there'll be English after, is finagled a bit to reflect more who is like you, meaning who is like all of us. All of us are capable of taking that first step, of showing up for the things that we love and care about. And so we'll do the Hebrew a few times, and then the English words will appear on the screen, same melody. Please join us, and let's show up for the song. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, halachta el hayam, lifnei Moshe Miriam. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, halachta el hayam, lifnei Moshe Miriam.
We will cross the sea.
We will cross the sea with all of us or none of us, and we will not leave till everyone is free. We will cross the sea with all of us or none of us, and we will not leave till everyone is free.
Please rise in body or spirit.
We will cross the sea with all of us or none of us, and we will not leave till everyone is free. We will cross the sea with all of us or none of us, and we will not leave till everyone is free.
Please join us in our closing.
Behind all our differences and beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars, throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars.
I want to thank Rabbi Michael Kengmmana for speaking with us today. As far as I know, this is the first time a rabbi has actually joined and become a member of our congregation. Normally, for the benediction, I say a few words and then I extinguish the chalice. Today I'm going to say a few words and I'm going to leave the chalice burning for reasons that will become obvious. One of the things that I thought of as I listened to Carol's reflection and to Rabbi Michael's reflection was an ancient parable, which goes very much like this. Long time ago, in a desert monastery, in a different language, in a different time, Abbot Lot went to his teacher, Abbot Joseph, and said, "Abbot Joseph, as best as I'm able, I say my prayers and I do my meditation and I try to cleanse my heart of earthly desires, but it just doesn't feel like enough. What can I do?" And Rabbi Joseph listened and sat for a moment, and then he reached his arms up towards the sky, and he seemed to be gathering energy from the sky and the earth itself until his presence lit up the space, and he said, "Why not be utterly changed into fire?" Our service is ended. Go in peace.